Your visa went through?
Yeah, a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone present here today. A very warm welcome to Old Passion Singapore, Malaysia Global. My name is Jeannie Tan, your host today. Old Passion was formed in November 2020 and run by a group of dedicated host team members. We had our first trial webinar on the 23rd of September 2021, and our first public webinar was on the 30th of September 2021 under the mentorship of Dr. Bill Williams. We meet on every Thursday. The mission of Old Passion is to ignite passion for humanity, to nurture mindset and leadership for passion and Oblast, and to form passion groups for good causes. And of course, today we have our special speaker, and he's none other than Dr. John Ajongwen. And he's not new to us, but of course, we would also still like to do a short intro. But before we do that, I would like Sister Mabel to take over, please.
Thank you. Let me share, as usual, our intro video for the night, for the day. And it's this one.
This is just the beginning. I'm very happy how it came out. Nothing like we planned, but it was perfect.
We go to the top with the Philippines. We go to the top with the Netherlands.
Singapore.
We go Singapore.
Absolutely.
All
We
over
are
the
in
world.
Singapore. We'll make a show of it. Yeah.
Bangladesh.
Yeah, indeed.
See you at the top.
See you at the top. Thank you, Dr. Bill. Appreciate you.
We are here, we are on passive, shining bright into the future. We rise high with one heart and revolution, lifting up humanity as we rise, standing tall, hand in hand. We are the unicorn, we are the stars. In it to win it, in it to win it. In it to win it, in it to win it. Bringing hope, shining the light. We're a nation, we are rising with one love, with one goal, bringing solution, lifting up humanity. Let's rise high, stand.
Happy New Year to our Malaysia and Singapore family. This is Dr. John Ajongwen from the United States of America. Tomorrow, January 16, 2025 at 9 p.m. Singapore time, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard, please join me as we explore a couple of financial mindsets that could be useful in our business. We will be starting with some considerations that we should bear in mind during the planning phases of our project, and we would explore this as part of a series that will include other topics in future seminars. I hope to see you there, and stay blessed.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you, Kumaran, who created this video. And yes, we are so glad, so proud to introduce the speaker tonight, Dr. John Ajongwen. And he's not new in our platform. He has been speaker for many occasions. And moving forward in the next 4 months, we have invited him to specially lead and guide us in the area of finance. And Dr. John's background is he is highly educated with PhD in chemical and biochemical engineering and MBA. He spent 20 years in the pharmaceutical industry with various pharma companies managing global projects. Regarding finance, his proficiency is to create wealth, eliminate debt, wealth protection, legacy planning, and strategies for efficient wealth distribution. And he says, ONPASSIVE, a beacon of good for humanity. As I said, because of his wealth of experience and his background in finance, Passion is inviting him to speak to us every the third Thursday of each month of January, February, March, April. So over these 4 months, we hope he will show us and guide us how to manage our finance. So come join us every third Thursday of the month, if not every Thursday, and we welcome you. But meanwhile, the platform, Dr. John, is all yours, and we thank you for being here to share with us your wealth of experience. Thank you, Dr. John.
Wow. I don't know where to start. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year, my brothers and sisters from the Singapore, Malaysia, global platform here. And those of you, from all the corners of the world. I was just scanning through the list of their attendance, and I realized that everyone that is here is somebody that I've met somewhere. And it's really a blessing that the passion that this business ONPASSIVE has brought us together has created in us a family that I just sit down and I think Brother Kumarang, thank you for your incredible videos, and I was just looking and I saw like some really young versions of myself. I hope I grow up to be like that. But one of the things that really came across was the fact that during almost 4 years, we have been building on this platform a community where the first phrase of your mission, which is the nurturing of the mindset, anybody that has either attended your platform live or listened to any of the YouTube presentations would really be blessed to have been found by ONPASSIVE and has been part of this ONPASSIVE of Passion. So I really want to thank you, the leaders of this platform, for what you do to really nurture our mindsets in all aspects as we prepare ourselves for All Blessed. And one of the things that when I sit and I reflect, it's very easy for us to look at the glass half empty and say, like, oh my goodness, this thing that I joined in 2000 and it hasn't started. Why is the delay? What's happening? When is ONPASSIVE going to launch? And I mean, we launched anyway, but we know the obstacles, we know the growing pains that the company face and what our CEO, his family, and the dedicated team are going through to really open up bigger doors for us. But just spare a thought and imagine that if you had showed up in ONPASSIVE and it went live maybe 2 days afterwards. Or maybe if ONPASSIVE had gone live and you jumped in as the millions of people that are going to show up later on, how prepared would we have been? How much would our mindsets have been nurtured for us to really develop the right tools in order to do what this great company is trying to set up for? So as we have been blessed to really go through this waiting period and I just saw the screenshots of the great presentations that went through only through 2024. It's really a blessing that we are here, and it's a blessing that the leadership of this platform continues to actually hold the Old Passion webinars on a weekly basis or more to really help us to develop mentally. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a couple of thoughts here. And in the introduction, I started getting a bit nervous because it's sort of Sister Mabel sort of really raised the bar so high that I don't even know whether I'm going to be able to get off the ground level. But whatever the spirit leads, that's what I'm going to share. So don't ask me what we're going to talk about next month. I mean, I have an idea of the topic, but the content, I don't know. And as we get closer to it, let the good Lord show us how to go about it. So when both Brakumara and Sister Jeannie and Sister Mabel asked me to come and do some presentations, I thought that in my deck of stuff, I have so much content, but that content can be really random, and I wasn't really sure what to bring out today. But then I took a step back and I said, okay, if we think about it, and we look at, we've talked about this cash flow quadrant here. I don't think it's something new to any of us here, but we know it's one of these concepts that Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote the book Cash Flow Quadrant, but is best known for the other book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. When he put this concept together, and I was thinking about it in terms of readiness, I thought to myself that I came into ONPASSIVE as somebody who had either been an employee or is currently self-employed. And I was thinking, how many of us here are in that category? How many of us, work for somebody, or we consultants, or like our brother John was talking about earlier, has his own business where he can go acting as Mark Twain and so on. This is where many of us reside. And coming into ONPASSIVE, what we had been brought up to think about, the way we have been brought up to reason, has been either as an employee or somebody who is a self-employed, but not a lot of people have sort of moved to the right side where they owned their own businesses, or there's some of the people that really create wealth through solid investments on their own, or consider all the concepts. So I thought maybe we should start from there, and then over the course of the presentations, look at just some basic tools that we can use to navigate ourselves from our employees / self-employed mindsets to becoming a business owners in ONPASSIVE. And so starting from the beginning, like employees, what do? We have our jobs, we go do our jobs, we come home, and someone pays us, whether it's a private entity or the government or some philanthropic organization, you don't have all the headaches of what it takes to get everything in place. Even something as simple as, the timesheets or payroll, hiring employees, all those things that, it's just another person's job. Or if you are self-employed, what we typically say is you own the job. You get up tomorrow morning, you're tired, just sleeping. Nobody's going to beat you up. It's your job. If you don't show up, you don't get paid. And now, ONPASSIVE found us, and our CEO has been telling us that it is our business. ONPASSIVE is our business. And it's amazing how many of us, or how many people, especially if we think of even a lot of people who had such excitement when ONPASSIVE started. And you can see even from the attendance of our webinars and so on that there are just a few of us who consistently show up to some of these webinars that are staying engaged. A lot of people have checked out because some of them came in with the mindset that I bought some stock in a company, I invested in some entity, and I just need to sit back and get some dividends. And why are they taking so much time? So moving into this area where we become like business owners and start thinking about the business, we should almost count ourselves kind of blessed that we have the time to prepare ourselves, to nurture our mindsets, to be able to think as business owners. So talking about the thought and how some of these things set up, as employees, what we just do is I go in there, I do my 8 hours, and I exchange my time and maybe my brains for some money. As a self-employed person is exactly the same thing you're doing. You're exchanging your time and your expertise for money. And typically, this is where a majority of the world, almost like 95% of people are here on this left side. But with the business side and the investor sides, we here own some processes and systems. And this is where, whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not, ONPASSIVE is place us in that position to be within the 1% of the world going forward. I don't care which part of the world you are, but if you look at the potential that this company has for us, our CEO has told us a couple of times, we'll be the hunted. You'll be the hunted because we would be in the 1%, I mean the 5% or even smaller. And if you think about the hunted and you just think about wild animals, whether they're if you've watched any of these documentaries where you see like a lion or a tiger chasing a flock of animals, those ones that they normally catch, they don't go to the front and try to stand there and attack everyone. They go after the one that is like the weakest and the one that is straddling behind. And so there are lots of us who would be in ONPASSIVE. We don't have the basic mindsets. And when the company is going full throttle, we would be lagging behind. And if we are lucky to actually make some money in the business, we'll really be the prey that the lion or the tiger can get after. So again, thank you for setting up this platform because it prepares us to develop that muscle so that when we are being hunted, we are able to really run for our lives. Staying with this very theme and just doing one quick deep dive again on these quadrants. As an employee, we typically rely on somebody else, to hire us, give us a job. They advertise them with some lofty languages. They offer us some sort of a carrot to come work for them. And what the employer typically does is that they offer a salary just high enough to attract us to stay in that job and not quit. They don't really give us what we deserve or what we are worth. And as employees, if you're not employed, you don't have an income. So your income is active. It's an active income because you clock in, you get paid an hourly rate. Because why? You're trading your time and your brains for money. And if you choose not to show up to work, there is no income coming, or you say, okay, I'm fed up with this job, I quit. Well, that's it. That job is ended. So there is really no control over our time. There is really no control over how much income we can make because it depends on some boss thinking that you're good enough to be given a pay rise. And in most cases, we play this almost like hide and seek with our employers. I put in just enough effort for them to see that I am busy and they don't fire me. And they pay me just enough to make sure that I stay working. And so when it comes to this idea of financial freedom and time freedom, we know that most of the people that make the money are the business owners. And that's where ONPASSIVE is putting us, and we need to actually start thinking that way. When you take it further and look at those people who either are risky enough or they have some sort of entrepreneurial mindset or some skills, and they go out there and become either consultants or they become self-employed, they typically use their skill sets to create their own jobs. You become a carpenter, you become a builder, you become some electrician, whatever you choose to be, or you're doing some consultancy, you can actually sell your services for what you think they're worth. You still have an active income because if you don't show up or if you're not called to do something, you don't get paid. You tend to control your time because you're your own boss, but obviously your income is dependent on the time and the effort you put in. And because we're trading our time for money, there is always this struggle to keep up with your income because you may end up doing, and I was listening to our brother John Barilla give a really startling statistic that 90% of the people who are in the acting business, they are unemployed at any point in time. So 90% of these individuals are looking for something to do. They have these tremendous skills, but then they're struggling to keep up with their income because at any time you may get a gig for about 3 months and then you're out for the rest of the time. So yes, it does give you some ability to control your time, but again, you cannot end up having a lot of time freedom when you also want to be able to create wealth. Which brings us now to where ONPASSIVE has found us. And ONPASSIVE, again, I keep using the word ONPASSIVE has found us because I don't know of any of us who got up and thought, let me create ONPASSIVE, or went out and said, let me go look for this company called ONPASSIVE and get recruited into. Or even those ones who, when the opportunity was presented to them, the very first second, they said, wow, that's what I've been looking for. No, some of us sort of had to sort of think, is this one of those things again? And then maybe the person came and tried to present to you again, quote unquote, and then you got it. But having been found, what we need to also do now is start adding to our mental toolbox. And what I am proposing is that if we haven't done, And I know we have, because through All Passion, I know everybody here's mindset has been nurtured at least 100 times more than when they joined ONPASSIVE in different aspects, from health, wealth, leadership, and so on. And so we need to be able to think as business owners. We need to know that as business owners, we have some sort of system that we would use. In our ONPASSIVE, one of those systems is our OES. We need to be able to look at how we use the OES to run and manage our business. When we get it right, at some point, we'll have real, true passive income. You will be sleeping and your ONPASSIVE business will be making you money. It will not be an 8 to 5 or a 9 to 5 or a 5 to 9 or 11 to 7. It no longer be that clocked in time that you're making the money, because your business is 24 hours round the clock, and your business location is not where each and every one of us is, but it's anywhere in the world that somebody needs access to any of our products and services. It will be able to afford for us that time freedom. And that's where some of the skills that we have been developing and the passion we have developed for All Bless will really come into play, because we have the time. Just think about even some of us who may have the aspirations to go somewhere and help someone out, have the means to do it, but you don't have the time to do it. Now, you're placing yourselves in a situation where we have the means, you have the time, and we have been nurtured to be able to go do it. So developing those mindsets become very, very important. So if you have been following up with me, you realize that most of what I'm going to be sharing over the course of this series is not really going to be the tools, but maybe just throw out the ideas that will help us to know, to think in those directions. Because when you think in those directions, then all the wealth that you create, it gets to a point that that money is being created, but we can position it to be making more money for ourselves in a passive manner. And then we can also use some of the tools and processes to make sure that that money is saved, it grows in a particular way that will enable us to be able to achieve whatever dreams we have. Whether those dreams are to go out and uplift humanity, provide some services or help out your families, or to go out there and change the world in one way or another. We will be able to do that if we have that right mindset and we use what ONPASSIVE has given us. So that said, let's just talk about just my initial ideas of how we're going to go through this journey. Today, we'll talk very briefly about some of the considerations that business people take into account when they start thinking about a business. And if you have not been thinking about it in that way, ONPASSIVE is our business. It is the vehicle that's going to help us change our life. So a lot of the planning has been done for us, as you will see when we go through the slides. But there are some aspects that I would just like to point out for us to be thinking about, so that whether we choose at some point to do them by ourselves or we engage the right professionals to help us out, at least we have an idea of what we're talking about. And then after that, obviously, when the business opens its doors, there are certain things that we need to do in order to operate it, to grow it, so that it gets to that point where it becomes more self-sustaining and we can build for ourselves some time freedom. Then along the way, you're driving your car, you need to make sure that that car is in a safe state. You need to make sure that you have the right insurances to be able to drive that car. And it goes the same when we're doing our wealth building and building our businesses. There are things that we need to consider to protect ourselves as well as protect our business. And the last part of it is now when we're going towards the end of our journey, when we have journeyed and our time is up on this world that we are but strangers, what is it that we're going to do? What becomes of our ONPASSIVE business? What become of all the OBLESS projects that we have created along the way? What do we do with them? Would we become like some of those, especially for most of us from Africa, we know of some real serious businessmen who created so much wealth, and when they were gone, they literally carried it to the grave with them because there was no preparation for continuity. So we will just touch on some of those when we look at the legacy of our business. Okay, so let's come back now and just talk about, as I said, don't look for any specific financial concepts here, but just look at some sort of guidance as to some of the things to think about as we journey together. This statement, is very simple, but it can be profound. Planning a business requires careful thought and strategy, because you want to be able to say, okay, I just want to go do a business. What is a business? What type of business? Why? What drives us to go do that business? So I'm going to go through just a couple of things, which any of us can Google and they'll just churn them out, or maybe you use any of the tools now and you find them. But I picked a couple of things that I think are important or you find them in the standard textbooks when they say, oh, what are some of the considerations when I want to start a business? So that shopping list will help us in the planning. The first things that really people do when they go setting up a business, and some of them you see, I'll just go so fast on them because we don't really need to concern ourselves on them, but just good to know in case you're looking at even some of the projects for yourself in the future. So you need to really look at it and look at your market target, and you need to do your competitor analysis, or what people do your SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats when you're looking at a business. So if I'm going to set up a business and say I want to go do some fun stuff online, like let's say TikTok, for example. What is the target market? Am I looking for a younger generation? Am I looking at the older people? Am I looking at people in one particular geographic area? What's your target market? People really, that's where you really start, because when you think about who am I trying to set up this business for? The people go out there, hire market researchers, they go search for things and look at the market size, look at all this information in order to say, okay, is this something I should really bother myself doing? If I sit here in New Jersey, which is actually below freezing today, and I have some brilliant idea that I want to go make a lemonade stand, and I bundle myself up and I get a table and I get my freezing lemonade, I go stand outside my door. You can tell without even thinking far that I'll probably come back with some slushy frozen stuff and nobody would have bought it. So making sure you do that initial marketing research is an important part. And then now, once you've done your marketing research, the next thing is, okay, why am I doing it? What am I trying to achieve? What's the purpose that I really want to waste my time to go do this business today, tomorrow, in the future, whatever? You need to really define that vision that you're trying to achieve with that business, long-term, short-term, intermediate, and what are some of the goals you want to actually be able to achieve when you are going ahead. Your goal might be as simple as, I want to be able to pay off all the debts that I have. I want to be able to, you hear people say, I went to business because I wanted to, retire my spouse or my mother or something. That's a goal. But some of those goals feel like some of my kids who used to just say, I want to be famous. What the hell is being famous? So when it comes to the goal creation, we need to be able to make them, as they call it in the business lingua, smart goals. The specific, the measurable, the achievable, and they sort of have some time that you want to achieve those goals. In my lifetime, I want to do that. How's your lifetime? Your lifetime might be the next 5 days, it might be the next 50 years. So your goal should be, in the next 5 years, I hope to achieve that. And then that way, you can literally put some projections and say, okay, this is what I would like to have in between. So whether it's an old blessed project, whether it's even your own passive business, how much would I like my business to be able to generate for me in the next 3 years, in the next 4 years, in the next 5 years? Because when you have those goals and you have those projections, it will help us to be able to actually put together a good plan to achieve that. The good news for us is that when it comes to the big ONPASSIVE business, Mr. Mofare has actually done a lot of this work for us. When he went into ONPASSIVE and decided that he was going to create this icon, he was going to build this unicorn that is going to shape the world. He actually had a vision, he had a mission, and he's been trying to articulate that to us for, depending on how long you've been with ONPASSIVE, up to 6 years. But when it comes to our own specific business, whether you have one business account, you have 2, you have 10, you really need to think at this moment and say, okay, I have this one account. What do I really want it to do for me? It's something that I think each and every one of us should really think and say, okay, I came into ONPASSIVE, maybe didn't understand why I was here. Now that I'm here, what do I really want it to do for me? Then there are other things that you need to do. And I think this one is probably the one I'll spend a bit more time on, or we'll talk about it. But you need to think beyond just being what many of us thought we did, which we thought we just came and bought a share in some startup company. We have our own individual businesses. Your ONPASSIVE account is your business. And when we open the gates, you want to figure out how you want to operate this business. Are you want to go solo and be a sole proprietor? You're going to create a limited liability company. You're going to incorporate it. Whichever option you choose is important, because if you choose that is your business and you want to run it as a business, then you want to be able to register that business appropriately. What is important here is really that you should look at it and say, what are some of the advantages of having this business as an incorporated business versus going around doing it as an LLC, as a sole proprietorship. And one of the things is that at the beginning, you may just see that your business is generating like $2, $3, and there is not really worth your time putting up a big structure for something. But when it starts to become like $2,000, $20,000, $30,000, or $200,000, then now there is a bit of complexity you need to consider. So in part 2, we're gonna just look at some advantages why it would be important for us to actually have it as a business rather than run it just as a as a side gig. And then obviously you want to think about funding. I've thought about this business opportunity. How am I going to fund it? How am I going to run it? And so on. For us in our own passive business, you have to be thinking about how you're going to be able to, manage your subscriptions. We know that there is going to be some expense that we need during not only capital, but running costs for our business. And we need to be able to figure out how we're going to do this, because when it came to the time of subscribing for O Connect, I think a few people were either caught off guard, a few people were surprised. I thought I bought this thing is supposed to just do like that, and they didn't really get it. And then just as a business, I started by saying when you're creating a business, you need to figure out where do I want that business to be based. Now we know where our business is. It's online, it's global. You just need to also consider for yourself at your own local place now, from a business point of view, do I need to have an office? Do I need to have it in a separate location from my home? Or do I need to create a home office to run your business? Again, when we talk about next time round, when we talk about some of the advantages of actually running the business, I hope I remember to actually mention there that once you actually have even a home office, there are some advantages from a tax point of view of making sure that you do proper record keeping so you can reduce some of your taxes. And then you move into the area of marketing your business. Yes, we know that ONPASSIVE has had done a lot of marketing since the last World Cup. I've had the opportunity to actually see it first time, some of the marketing that they've been doing in Dubai on the Burj Khalifa, at the train station, along the highways. There's been a lot of marketing done on ONPASSIVE. But then when you have your own business, you may need to think about even leveraging some of the ONPASSIVE marketing and continue to market your business. It might be through your WhatsApp channels, it might be through Facebook, it might be through your communities you have, but these are things that you need to be intentional and start thinking about, because that's what's going to make a difference. Because me and Sister Mabel may all have the same one ONPASSIVE account, and then I get up one day and I find out that she is a millionaire and I have basically managed to get 1,000 because of how much differently she marketed her business. So as business owners, we need to consider some of those things. And so that's why I'm saying it. The bigger ONPASSIVE marketing is done for us, but you need to actually say, how much further will I take when it comes to running my own business? And then the last part I just want to touch on for this slide is really when you're running the business. When you're running your business, what are some of the tools? What are some of the processes? What are some of the equipment that you need to keep your business running? I remember several times when we're getting to O Connect, the CEO always told us, the bigger the screen, the bigger the enjoyment. You actually, but there might be some tools. We might need better communication tools if we're going to be doing a lot of O Connect webinars. We may need a better computer. Whatever you need, those are business things. And at some point, we have to stop thinking, oh no, my computer that I have, this Commodore 64 can still do the job. It may not do it. So you need to think about tools, technology, and processes that would be important for your business. And on this one about, if you are going out setting up a business, obviously, if you remember the 4 quadrants, the business people leverage the processes and other people to work for them. Yes, this might not be something that you really want to bother yourselves about, but there may be some point in time that you may need some additional resources so you can give yourself time freedom. Some of those resources may just mean that you don't even do some of the things you do today. You may decide that you want to forget about mowing your lawn and get someone else to come do that. You might have a house cleaner. You know, you actually employ other people, your CPAs, accountants, and so on. Those are people that you may need for your business. So you need to start thinking about those people that you will need for your business so that you can give yourself time freedom. Maybe that time that you used to spend doing the cleaning in your house, you probably want to spend in a gym to get your health in a better condition. But those are things that if we think about them as business people, we could actually even start building the team. And as the rubber hits the road, obviously, the next thing that we're going to have to think is how we stop being the hunted, as I mentioned earlier. We'll have to think about what are some of the risks that our business may actually encounter. We know right now that our CEO is going through a lot of risk mitigations, some of them which really kind of derailed and delayed us. But at an independent level, if you are here in the United States, and I think this is a personal story I can share, about 2 years ago, one of my daughters was involved in a car accident. Thank God, no scratch, nothing, and they came out safe. But after a year, got a letter from the car insurance company filing a lawsuit because they have not been sleeping well since the accident, you know, and it's not like the person got hurt or anything, but all of a sudden they're coming back and playing some emotional games or mindsets and so on. Why am I sharing this? They sent me a thick package to complete. And when I was going through that paperwork, I called the insurance company. I said, okay, the only reason that you're asking me to complete this paperwork is because the car was registered to me. You know fully well that I was not the driver and I was not present at the scene. So what am I supposed to complete here? And as I went a third way through the document, they started asking about my assets, stocks that you own, other cars you own, your homes. And I stopped, I paused, and I called the insurance company again. I said, listen, this is ridiculous. Why do I need to disclose all this information? And the lady told me, okay, Mr. John, this is the thing. These guys are out fishing. And what their lawyers are trying to establish is your net worth. Because if they establish that you're worth $100 million, what they're going to attempt to do is sue us for about 200 million in the hope that you would negotiate and come down and maybe give them 10 million to send them away. If they figure out that you're worth $10 million, maybe they're going to try and sue for $20 million so that somewhere we may negotiate and give them about $1 million to go away. So the moral of this story, when you become wealthy in ONPASSIVE, this is where you really become the hunted, because people are not coming after what ONPASSIVE has done. They're looking at it and saying, Queen Lily Lane just bought this huge mansion there and she must be worth $1 billion. I just tripped and fell in front of her house. I'm going to have to sue her for about 5 billion and she would probably end up giving me like 10 million and I'll be happy with that. So there will be things that we need to do which are not necessarily related to our ONPASSIVE business, but they are related to protecting ourselves from all those wolves that are out there just waiting for our success. And in part 3, hopefully we would revisit some of those concepts, because I think I've shared a lot of them along the way, either on this platform, I believe, or other platforms. And then as we come towards the end of this presentation, the other things that I really want us to be able to think about are, when I get my account, are there things that I need to do in order to actually scale them and grow them? Some of us have more than one account, and it may be very difficult for us to grow all of them in one go. You may choose to grow one, pack it, and then come back and do the other one. But That's something which you need to be intentional about. You don't want to just leave things to chance, because at the end of the day, this is a business. It's not a 9 to 5 thing that you just showed up in the morning and someone else checks how many hours you have worked and paid for those hours. And maybe if they choose for you to do some overtime, they paid for that overtime. And then, most importantly, as we're thinking about the business, we need to start thinking about the exit plan for our business. In fact, we need to be thinking about the exit plans for our lives, because we know we're not going to remain here like a stone. So some of us, or all of us, at some point, the breath would stop and the good Lord will call us home. For our businesses, we may choose that, shut down that business and go try something else. You may choose to sell it. You may choose to actually go public with it with an initial public offering. You may choose to transfer it to the next generation to continue it. Those things, when you hear about it, people always talk about legacy planning. And the key word there is the planning, which means we don't wait and then when it's too late, we start thinking about it. We need to be intentional. We need to be doing that way ahead of time. And during the course of our discussion series, I'm hoping that we're going to just bring out just these ideas so that we are thinking about them. The experts out there that are going to be able to help you do them. But if you think about it, the problems that a lot of people who suddenly come in contact with wealth face is that they get taken advantage of, not intentionally. And the one person that keeps coming to mind when I say this phrase is somebody like Mike Tyson, if you guys are old enough to remember when he used to, not now that he's trying to come out as a comedian, but when he used to be able to get into the boxing ring and he would just knock off somebody in the first 10 seconds and walk away with $50 million. Consider how many millions of dollars that guy actually had. And he had one mentor who was managing him. He didn't have the right financial mindset. When his mentor died, this guy just became a wreck. His marriage went down. He ended up in jail. He lost all the money. He's trying to rebuild himself now. But some of this, just having these key concepts are really important. And I really, again, thank the leadership of this platform, because they help us to be able to have these things in our radar screen so that when the time comes, you can say, oh, yeah, I need to go really think about some of these things. I don't know what to do about them. Now you can go and be focused on looking for the solution for it rather than just hope and pray that things are done. Because when we really carefully consider these things, we will be really, really equipped to do our business. We'll be equipped to be successful in our business. We'll be equipped to protect what is in the business, and more importantly, really to be able to even move that business to continue to achieve whatever it is that we want to do from our own passion and from our own blessed point of view, even when we ourselves are not here. So I am quite excited about this journey. I'm excited about what we're going to be exploring. And I really hope that when you come through with me, you're going to be hopefully enriched in with some of the concepts that we'll just explore. And that as ONPASSIVE presents it to us, you'll be able to use it so that we don't only improve ourselves, our families, but we can actually go out there and do the uplifting of humanity, go out there, achieve our passions, and go out there and get those all blessed projects going even beyond our existence here on earth. I'm going to pause here. Thank you very much for listening. And I hope to see you guys in about a month.
Wow, thank you, Dr. John. What a comprehensive point by point you have shared. And I just want to quote what you, the last two statements, so that we know where you are leading us. These are some of the financial considerations and mindset that aspiring entrepreneur, legacy creators, like business owners, develop and implement. By carefully considering these factors, we will be better equipped to launch and sustain a successful business, or in creating our projects, our OBLES projects, etc. So, all of us are here. We have just gone through what Dr. John has given us, 11 points, including the exit plan, which we should plan how we should leave a legacy behind. So, of course, I know John has raised the hand, Tony, Little Lane, etc. So I'm digesting, but let's understand this is what the next 4 months Dr. John is going to lead us into health management, etc. And he is creating the agenda, he's creating the syllabus. So the Lord will lead him and show him how to help us understand financial management. So this is really an open book, and we have opportunities. I believe if we have any questions, we can ask him, or ask him to share more about certain areas, etc. But all the 11 points that he has mentioned is absolutely comprehensive. If you go for any course, Dr. John, we have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to understand and comprehend, just to know the structure. So I will pass the next session to Jeannie to manage, where John Barilla will be the first one, right, Jeannie?
Yes,
Yes, okay.
Brother John,
Yes.
over to you.
Are you ready for me?
Always.
Okay. No, yeah, I wasn't first the last few times. I said, oh, I'm not first. What? No. Anyway, but no, I just want to say thank you, Dr. John. First of all, obviously, that was a really wonderful presentation. Now, in learning a lot as I watch, but I'm glad we're able to save this. Like, for example, our webinar today, because I want to look at this again. And also, I can't wait for his future presentation. But I'd like to say, as I watched, there were some of these points that, yes, I've considered this. I've thought about it. But then as he went along, things would come out and say, well, there's something to think about. We do have to be prepared for that. And I haven't really thought about that. Like, one of the things was I'm realizing, like, I have multiple accounts, and I'm thinking, like, hey, this could be daunting for one when you have your one founder's account, for example. But I'm one of those folks that I have more than that, and I've got to deal with all of those things, considering all of these factors we're hearing here from Dr. John. And that made me realize, wow, I've really got to pay attention to this stuff and learn it, and probably get some help when we do get going from people who know. So this was very valuable for me today, and I can't wait for his next presentation. But also, we may be bugging him later on when we're when we get going a little bit personally. Some of us are going to want to talk to him. I have a feeling, Anyway, very good. Thank you very much, and move on to the next person now.
Thank you. Thank you, Brother John. Okay, we have Sister Antoinette, the next person, please.
Good morning, everyone, and excellent presentation, Dr. John. After hearing everything that we should have in place and insurances, and hearing about your story and question, will ONPASSIVE help us along the way in setting up a lot of that stuff, the insurances, or do we approach you, the expert?
So, Sister Antoinette, yes, thank you for that question, and I'm laughing, but I think a lot of people are just thinking that ONPASSIVE is gonna just do it for us. No, ONPASSIVE, Mr. Mufare is going to provide us the tools. So think about it that you had been given your website, it's loaded with the products, you have the ecosystem, and it is now your business. They don't, especially when it comes to insurances and all that stuff, ONPASSIVE is global. And if you go to even, I mean, me and you here in the United States, there's some slight things, differences between the way that things are done in Michigan and how they're done here in New Jersey. So ONPASSIVE is not going to actually go into each and every country and say, okay, if you're in Malaysia, go do this and that. And that's where, as I said, the people that, those of us who've been lucky to have been attending these platforms, we have really learned the mindsets and we have this knowledge and we'll do it right. The people that came in and they just thought they bought a stock in a company and that stock is going to give them dividends, it's gonna be tough. So yes, this is something that you do what you think your business will be able to do for you. And you do it in the context of your legal, political, geographic setup. So no, ONPASSIVE is not going to do any of this for us because they cannot do it for the billions of people that are going to show up. Facebook doesn't do anything for anybody that is on it. So it is for us to take care of our business, and all we can do is help each other.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank you, Dr. John. I appreciate that. You'll be hearing from me.
Hearing from us. Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh boy,
Sister Antoinette.
that sounds like a naughty boy who's waiting for punishment.
Okay.
Your gifts will be highly used.
Yeah.
Amen.
You'll be highly
The-
sought after.
Yeah.
Okay, next we have Sister Melanie. Sister Melanie, over to you. You have to unmute yourself, Melanie. You're muted. Okay,
Yep.
you're on now. Yeah, you're muted again.
I think she
Muted
mutes
again.
up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay, sorry. Cell phones and I are not friends when it comes to meeting. Honestly, I'm sorry, guys. Okay. First of all, I want to say hello and hi to everybody. I said it before. Thank you, Jeannie, and everybody else, John, Yvonne, Dr. John. Thank you for bringing your expertise to us.
Yes.
I certainly appreciate what you have discussed with us. May I add, may I say that each day we look for opportunities, we look at the big pictures first, right? But it's not necessarily that we look at, because we are going somewhere with ONPASSIVE. So we are to look for opportunities to improve our skills, our knowledge, as Dr. John brought the mindset, and that way we become, with every step we take, we become more aware and more vigilant of what is coming in the bigger picture in ONPASSIVE. We can't just wait for when it comes and we say, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? We keep ourselves immersed in, in reading, in studying things financially, where we are going, what we are going to do. We prepare a plan, Sometimes we say we set goals, but the plan is better. We write it down on boards, whiteboards, in notes where we can see visible. We just keep ourselves immersed, because if we have to have a blessing, major blessing, which you're already blessed, and I thank God for that, and the bigger blessing is coming into ONPASSIVE, we have to find ways and means now, prepare ourselves now, take the steps now, and plan out what we are going to do, as Dr. John was saying, you know, think charity wise, who we are going to share our blessings with, because it will be major blessings. So how are we going to prepare that when it comes? So I'm thinking small ways we need to start in, all right? And that is the way we can help someone in the meantime, even if we don't have the bigger blessing yet, the bigger picture is not there yet, but we take that blessings, we are small as it is, we pass it on to a friend, a family member in the meantime. Whatever we have, we share it so that when the big one comes, we will know that we have already started it, and then we can share more. We can divide it, because prosperity is not to be kept for ourselves, as we all know. Prosperity, financial blessings, it is coming from above. It's a manna, M-A-N-N-A, right? That we share among our brethren. So we have to really have plans and steps put in place, as Dr. John was, as I was listening to him. And I said, that is true, because no one is going to do it for us. Ash is doing his best, Mr. Mafora, sorry. I have to give him his respect. He's doing his best to help us. So what are we doing in the meantime? Are we waiting on him because it's our father or uncle or brother and he's going to give us a plan? I give you the money here. We are going to do that. This is not what it is. We have to really look into what we are doing now, write down the steps, know who we are going to share our blessings with, and where we are going to put some of that money, whatever we are getting, and know that it is not just for ourselves. And that way it will go far, and we will not be as worried. What shall I do? What am I going to do? You know, because it's already there. The fact of the matter is to take steps, be vigilant, and prepare ourselves from now. Thank you, Dr. John, and thank you, Mabel and Jeannie, for giving me that chance to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Melanie. Thank you for sharing.
Welcome. Welcome.
Yeah, and okay, next we have Sister Yvonne. Sister Yvonne Finn.
Yes, thank you, Sister Janie, and thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Jan. And as I think it was Sister Mabel who said, comprehensive, that's the word. And yes, you have shared some of these before, but it does not matter because it's not going to be just once. And I think you will become the hunted within the hunted because people are going to be chasing you down willy-nilly. So thank you. This was just so perfect, a kind of recap for me because I have heard a lot of this. That not to say I know it. I just know that I've heard it, right? And so I will be needing all that things that you were talking about there. This series will be more about upgrading our mindset, isn't it? Like we're talking about scaling up businesses, but we're also scaling up our mindsets. You know, we will not be able to remain the same even as we are today, because when ONPASSIVE goes into motion, it's going to come hard and fast, and we have to be agile. And you are definitely preparing us, and I really appreciate that. And the next thing we need to be is focused and intentional in our directions where we're heading, because planning makes no sense in the past. It's not a backward thing. Planning is a future event. We have to plan forward, and you are those definitely giving us a good foundation for that. And we are looking at options. Options is what ONPASSIVE is bringing into our lives. We can go this way or that way, but it's all forward and it's all good. And you are definitely going to become the hunted, sir. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Yvonne.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have anybody else who wants to speak? Sister Julie. Hi. Over to you, Sister Julie. Julie Pierre. Hi, Julie. Are you able?
Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, hi.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you. I am blessed to have known Dr. John. I cannot say excellent presentation because I know what he contains. I know his wealth of knowledge. I have been blessed to work with him for over a year on my own platform. And like Sister Yvonne said, I have heard a lot of what he's talked about today. But you know, as a refresher, it's very good. Just reminders, gentle reminders. And while Dr. John was on my own platform, one of my questions was, and a lot of the other founders who were there was, how can we reach other founders to get a hold of that kind of knowledge, you know? And it is something that we all will need in the future. And I am so pleased, I am so happy that he is able to come out here and share his wealth of knowledge with you guys, Sister Jeannie and everybody else. It is very, very, very essential coming up. And we just need to be vigilant, be very articulate in our planning, because if you have wealth and you do not have plan, you do not have vision, you're going to mess up. So I need to say thank you to Dr. John. You know we love you. And sorry guys, I am unable to put on my camera, but I'm always pleased and blessed to come over here to listen to you guys. You're doing a wonderful job. Continue doing the good work. Continue trusting the Lord, and we are going to be all right. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Julie. Thank you so much for sharing.
Jeannie, could I just jump in again?
Sure, John.
Yeah, I just want to say this isn't according to what we heard today. I just something on my mind. As I said earlier, I really went out and let people know about this today, as I usually do all the time. And I just want to challenge everybody. We had better numbers than we have had recently. Today we have, I think it's listing 31 folks at the moment. Now that's not a huge number, but it's better than we have been recently. And I've noticed that it's grown as we've gone along. So I just want to challenge all of us folks, especially those of us that are regulars here at OPASSIVE Singapore, Malaysia Global, to let's talk about our platform here to folks. It's a great platform to come and visit and learn and get great information as we got today. So I just want to challenge all of us. Let's get some founders and let them know what a great platform this is when we have our meeting, our webinar, and have them, invite them, put that link out there next week and tell people, get them here. I just want to challenge all of us. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Brother John. Thank you
again,
for
Sister Jeannie,
always,
I've raised my hand again, sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead, sister.
Oh, okay, so pertaining to Sister Julie's question about, is it Sister, no, who was that asked about being able to interact with other founders? Who was it? I just, is it
Sister Julie.
Okay, so thank you, Brother John. I was just thinking, so when we have OConnect and Academy, people can talk about what they do on there, can they not, Dr. John?
I think Academy would be a very good platform for some of those,
Right.
but yeah,
Right.
for
Okay.
that they can
I thought
do.
so. Thank you. Yeah.
Mhm.
That was what I was thinking, because I thought I actually heard that somewhere else, that we are able to go in there and, with a lot of vetting. I mean, I know that that Mr. Mufar is going to be very strict about what goes on there, but that's fine. We are going to be ethical people. This is where we're coming from. And so I don't see any reason why people who do the kind of things that you, because I mean, seriously, Dr. John, you can't handle all the business that's going to come in here. So you're going to need people to go there.
I need time freedom.
You need time freedom. That's the whole reason for ONPASSIVE, right? So Catmull. So there you go. So yeah, so if we are telling our founders that no, this is what the academy is about, why not use it for ourselves, right? So yeah, so
And
that's what I
and,
wanted
and
to add. Thank you, Sister Jeannie. Yeah.
yeah, in the meantime, I know Sister Mabel had her hand on when Sister Julie talked about it and Brother John Barilla talked about it. In the
Yeah.
meantime, right now, as I said, there are some people that did not really get, I mean, the vision of ONPASSIVE, and because they thought things should have gone a certain way, they have sort of taken the back step, and they're missing quite a lot. And so how can we get some of those people engaged right now? I know that the Sister Mabel and Jeannie and even Bra Kumarang, they do a great job actually even posting some of the recordings of these webinars out. And so when we get some of this great information, yeah, just throw it in some of our platforms and say, hey, I got this one and it really gave me like a good mindset. And I've been attending the All Passion Singapore Malaysia Global webinar, and they actually do a lot of mindset stuff there. Have a look at this. And when they look at the presentation, they'll probably see the flyer there, and you'll probably be curious and they can actually come. So yes, I think sharing some of these recordings is one way that we tell people, but we also have to be realistic that at the end of the day, it's got the 80-20 rule is always going to play. And so we can scream and shout. Only a few people are going to be there, and at some point, others will be catching up.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Dr. John. Mabel,
Yeah.
what do you?
Okay. Thank you. We are within the 20, Dr. John. Praise the Lord, for staying engaged. Dr. John, pardon my ignorance in coming scratch from regarding managing finance and budgeting or even how to manage projects. So, Dr. John, when we have, whether it's one account or multiple account, there will come a time where we have that abundance. So regarding managing our finance and investing our finances, majority of most business, if you would agree, do not guarantee success. If you can say when someone starts his own business, 95% over 3 years, it will disappear, it will fail. So when you talk about investing, I might be wrong. I believe with the abundance given to us, we should invest a little bit. So my question really is not so much how at the moment. I think you will teach us how, but what to invest in. What to invest in. And then, and this is where I want to ask, pardon my ignorance, I don't really know what Bitcoin is. I don't know. Okay, I also dare not go and touch because it's just beyond me. But is Bitcoin or the digital coin the future of currency that we should invest in? Because other than the dollar, okay, Sing dollar, US dollar, should we also deposit at the end of the day into Bitcoin? That means not so much invest, but deposit. So that's why, pardon my language or even the question. Now, so what to invest will you be sharing with us? And then, so I asked the question, what to invest? The next thing is that maybe it's true for those of us who do not know about business or investment, most of our money will go into oblast. If we have the abundance, of course, some will be left for our loved ones. They will have an inheritance, but the majority, the working, the operation of the money, the diverse of the money should go into oblast. And of course, if you directly ask me now, what is OBLES? You will be investing, we should be investing in our passion of where our love is to make the world a better place. And when we talk about budget, investing in our OBLES projects, this is where do we need, or will you be helping us to understand how to plan and budget for the project, the accounting, the building of the projects, etc. So this is the first round of questions.
Oh boy, that question was so loaded. The first thing as Sister Mabel is that maybe when it comes to some of the specifics on where people should invest, we may have to create like a separate another session to just brainstorm, talk together, because again, it starts with
Not here tonight. These questions
no,
are
I'm
for
saying
your
that
future sessions.
after the future sessions to look at some what are some specifics. And why I'm saying that is there might be some ideas that will come out during the other phases that could partially answer that question. And then after that, we can look at it. The second one, I know you talked about crypto. My wife has this statement that she says, cryptocurrency, the first 3 letters of crypto is cry. So it's cry currency. and so it's actually becoming the digital world is becoming the future. But if you go in the wrong way, and many of us have gone in the wrong way, I included, you get burned seriously. And that said, there are also people out there that are making trillions of dollars in the platform. So as we learn more and know what are some of the considerations, I actually got some information just yesterday from somebody I've not actually gone through, but it's kind of a 1-hour video that just is supposed to tell you what are some of the things to look for when you're going into this crypto space or into this digital space, to know if something is a real or is one of those ones that's just going to blow up in smoke. I'm going to look at that video and see whether it's something that could be shared for learning, because I think that's powerful. Is that a space to be involved in? Absolutely. Is that a space that everybody should pack everything into it? Absolutely not. Just like any investments, they always tell you don't put all the eggs in one basket. I will not even say, and a lot of people say that, do not put your money investments anywhere that you're not comfortable losing those investments. So even when you talk about the OBLES, let's say you end up with $1 million that you say you want to go get them involved in a project of some sort, and you're looking at that project to last beyond your lifetime. The only way that that project would be sustained beyond the lifetime is if those funds are being grown, and then the proceeds of those funds are being used to do your OBLES. So yes, we would just talk about those concepts that you want to put your funds in some sort of vehicles that at least, let's say you have $1 billion and you say, I want to use $100 million in some project on a yearly basis. If you take your $1 billion, put it in a bucket somewhere, and you're pulling a 100 million every year, then, within about 10 years, it's done. But if that is placed somewhere that tells you that they can give you about 10% of returns, then that $1 billion will never, ever go anywhere. Because, and those are the concepts we think,
Yes,
if you think about the Rockefellers and all the Rothschilds of this world, they created this, and maybe you touch on those on some of the legacy area. Now you're beginning to make me think about content that I haven't even thought about. So you think about some of those people, they created some wealth in the 18th century. They put it in a bucket somewhere, and those entities are literally using a portion of the proceeds for all the philanthropic work. And so you would probably never see the things like the Gates Foundations and the Rockefeller Foundations go broke, because they have invested those funds where they can at least use the proceeds. And we'll touch on some of those concepts. And that's how we're going to use the OBLES, use our monies in OBLES. The first place that you need to invest in as we go into ONPASSIVE is to actually invest in your business and yourself so that it grows. And that's when I talked about the scale up, because you want to build the ONPASSIVE business so that it's generating enough to help you do what you want to do. You don't want to keep your business generating $50 a month, which cannot even pay for your gas. So first investment is to build ourselves and our business to get to that point that can actually generate the income. And hopefully, if we go through the series and there's specific things that we need to then consider, we could consider them on a one-off, or they might be specific to individuals and we can address them. And by the way, there is no ignorant or stupid question, because if you were not smart enough to think about it, then you would not ask it.
Thank you, thank you. So here we are. Anyone, you particularly have any question, any topic that you want Dr. John to speak about, this is where you can ask about it here on the first session. And then we have 3 more sessions with him, and then we see where we go from there.
Can I say something if I'm not too noisy?
Go ahead, Sister Debbie.
There's a lot of background noise, so I'm trying not to make it too bad. Hello, everyone. Greetings again. I just want to say thank you for inviting Dr. John, and for him to create his calendar and give us 4 good sessions. That's very selfless of you. But before I proceed on that, I want to thank you for that awesome presentation today. It's not really easy for everyone to attend. I know Brother John Barilla was saying the number should be replicated during the next couple of sessions. It's very difficult because depending on what time of day,
yes,
some people's schedules may not allow them to participate. And even when I'm in Chicago, it's difficult for me to get up at 6:45 my time. If I had a webinar the previous night and finish around 2, 3 a.m., I barely have 3 hours for my body to recuperate, and I have to wake up. So maybe that's why the attendance is dwindling. I'm not giving excuses, but I'm just thinking in terms of my own schedule, not every other person. So we may also have that in mind. And lately, I don't think of all the other products. I know Dr. John did mention something about OBLES, Academy. I'm not thinking about them. Why? Because the one that we have been really familiarized with is O Connect. And until that comes back to us, I'm not going to stretch to any of the others. I'll stay within the one that I know. We have had the opportunity to have a little taste of it, and we knew that it was great. So let's hope just one at least comes back to us before we expand to the others that we have never seen. So that being said, I want to appreciate everyone who was able to join today. And I hope that the invitation from Brother Barilla will be extended to everyone to join again next week same time, and in all the brothers and other sister forums of Singapore, Malaysia. And Brother Kumaran, thank you for upgrading your knowledge of those avatars. You're an expert in them right now. It's honestly, he's the pro of avatars. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you, Sister Mabel. Back to you.
Thank you,
Mabel,
Jeannie.
go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, Jeannie, yeah.
Dr. T is on board. Dr. T, would you like to say something, Dr. T?
Yes.
Wow.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm battling a cold this morning, so I do apologize for my hoarseness, but I'm here. Dr. John, excellent presentation. And as you were saying, you know, on passive is our business, but we've got to figure out a way to make investments and beyond on passive. And that's the thing that I'm concentrating on right now in my life. I think a lot of people take that for granted. They just make money, put it in the bank, and they forget about it. But no, we have to find a way to make our money work for us while we're sleeping. And that goes beyond on passive. So very informative, very energetic, and I really do appreciate you. I enjoy hearing you speak, and I'm going to make every effort to be here next month when you present. Okay, I'll try to say next week when you present. Is it next week? Yeah, next Thursday. Yeah, next Thursday when you present.
No. Every third
Next month.
Thursday.
Okay, yes.
Yours is every second. His is every third.
Okay, yes, the third, every third. Yes, I will try to make effort to be here. Yes. So thank you so much, Dr. John, and tell your lovely wife I said hello. Dr. Patience. Thank you, John. Dr. John. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. T.
Thank you, Dr. T.
Okay.
Okay.
Kumaran.
Yeah, Kumaran, you want to say something? I saw your hand.
Yeah. Thank you, Sister Jeannie. Brother John, thanks for visiting us again and for your appointment for the few weeks in future. I just want to add in, I think, Brother John, you should share about the crypto in future, not because of the investment part, because people, I mean, they have idea that crypto is more to, you know, like Bitcoin, you buy and sell. That is not the thing, because since we are more to the AI, so the future, we are going to from the fiat currency, we are going to the digital. Just imagine what happened if, you know, the people staying in Los Angeles, they have digital currency. I'm sure a lot of cash they have saved because the currency they have kept in, you know, in the cloud. So that is things to be thinking, I'm sure they have kept goals in their house, and, you know, a lot of but so that is things to, you know, in future we have the things, and some more now the governments are coming in, because this is what I learned. The blockchain, you can trace all the transaction happening. That means any transaction moving around, they can trace in crypto. But the physical cash, you know, the money laundering, the one is very hard. They're very hard to trace. In crypto, if you want to bang in and the withdrawal, the two ending, you know, the ends, where the money goes inside the blockchain and where the money comes out, is all must go through the bank. If there's no other way that the money can go, I mean, so everything is record. So the government can know where the money goes and comes. So they in future they can see all this, you know, the other side of the world, where the, you know, the what do you call, like the war, the military, all is underground, the drugs, you know. So a lot of good things about crypto. So that's why the government now, they are looking. It's not about investment. It's more to and even the money printing out. There's a cost to print, fiat currency, right? So if they now with the crypto, with the digital coins, they can save millions of money from spending to print. So a lot of things, plus points are there. So Brother John, in future, you can come just for one section on the crypto. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Brother Kumaran. Thank you for your sharing. And Mabel, I would like to pass it back to you.
Yes, Dr. John, maybe we would want you to give us the closing statement, or closing composition, But again, before Dr. John speaks, he speaks to us every third Thursday of the month for January, February, March, April, 4. And then if he is to come back any longer, all of us got to put up our hands. Yeah. So, but we know we are taking precious time from him. And as Debbie says, what a sacrifice. But Dr. John, God bless you and multiply you back with many, many more fold of time empowerment in all that you do. So before you speak, did I see Dr. T's hand go up or something like that?
Mabel,
Well,
sorry,
you
I
told us
also
to
had my
raise our
hand up
hand.
as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
You told us to
Dr.
raise our
T.
hand. You want him to come back longer, so I was raising my hand. Let you know I wanted to come back.
Okay.
I also had my hands up, guys.
Oh dear. So you have to come back for May and June. But anyway, uh, thank you. We'll come back. We'll take it from as the Lord leads. So Melanie?
Yes, thank you. Dr. John, I just wanted to know, how could I reach you? I had something to ask personally. When I say personally, regarding financial stuff. Is there any way you're on Facebook or anything?
I will. Okay, let me. The chat's gone. I was gonna send you
Mr.
my.
Melanie, you have to contact Dr. P.
You got it
Yeah.
right.
Dr. P
It's
is
right
good.
timing, so I need to reach you. I'm sorry.
Oh boy. Listen, I'll give you a number.
Okay.
It's 908
Okay.
300
Right.
7909.
Okay, perfect. I appreciate that and thank you very much. Thank you,
So
Mabel.
so the most I can get is 29 calls anyway.
I'll be very short. It's just a quick one. Thank you.
Out of those numbers, about 25 already have the number. So
That's right.
Yes.
So good.
How do you do
Thank
that?
you.
Okay, praise the Lord. Dr. John, thank
Right.
you so much for coming. Please give us a closing, your closing thoughts.
Wow. Really, this was an excellent sharing session for the beginning of a year. I really feel blessed to have been part of it, and looking at again the list of people who are on here. I'm honored to be in your presence. The key message I just want to talk, and I know Dr. T, she's talking in the background and she's a financial expert. So when you guys start hunting, just know that that's another avenue to hunt. But remember, when
She's
it
our
comes,
coach.
yes, when it comes to your business, you are the owner and the CEO of your own passive business. And when we go live, remember Mr. Mifare had said we're going to brand our business, whatever we call it. So when you brand your business, you are the owner and the CEO of that business. And what you plan to do with that business, how you intend to run it, what you actually hope to achieve with that business would really be down to the effort that you put in it. The good news is that success is guaranteed because a lot of the marketing research, a lot of the product development has been done for us or is being done for us by ONPASSIVE. But we just need to take it, go past that crossing line. And if we work together through platforms like this one, which help develop our mindsets, if we work together through some of the sister platforms that help develop our mindsets, if we stay together as a community, as a family, then when the time comes for us to be able to do some of the things that we're dreaming about, we'll find that there's a lot of commonality between us. There are lots of projects that we are thinking about that probably we could leverage one another. And as the saying goes, you want to go far, you want to go fast, you go alone. You want to go far, you go together. So together here, we're going to go far. And I thank all of you for taking your time this morning, this afternoon, this evening for us to share. And I wish you the best. I wish you a good night. And I hope that, just keep doing what you're doing. And the blessings are going to be all ours. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And I
Amen.
hand it back to you.
Thank you, Dr. John. And we must say again, the Lord multiply the time back to you for all the sacrifice you have made. Thank you again. So, Jeannie, is it good night?
Amen. Yes, amen. Good night. Thank you,
Good
John.
night, everyone.
Good
Good
night. Good
night.
night,
Good night,
everyone.
everybody.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good
Good
night,
night,
everybody.
everyone.
Good night, good
I'll stop
morning,
the
good
record. Good
day.
night, Debbie.
Good night.
Bye.
Everyone.
Good
Night,
night.
everyone.
Bye
See
so
you again.
long.
See you all
Good
next
night.
time.
Good night,
Bye.
everyone. Good
Bye-bye.
morning.
Bye-bye.